Good morning, I'm Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. Going to talk to Joel Ingersol, and he is a regular contributor here on The Price of Business, and I love his what he does with this company called Take On College, and what they do is they really make a difference in the lives of young people and helping them to get the most out of their college experience. You know, and there's so many organizations that really charge a fortune just to get your kid in college. And, of course, many of them flounder and barely make it through and certainly don't leverage the experience properly. And what I like about Take On College is it doesn't focus on the 9 months before, but the 4 years of in a really significant manner, as well as the months before in preparation. But I think it's great that they help people really exploit and make the most out of their time in college. Joel, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Kevin.
Real quickly, kind of give us the elevator speech of exactly what you do.
Sure. So we help college and college-bound students maximize their performance and experience while they're in school.
Yeah.
And we do this through a really unique, personalized coaching method, and we're able to follow college students and coach them regardless of any school that they attend in the country.
And how long have you been doing this, by the way?
Well, informally, I've been doing it about 4 or 5 years, and I formalized Take On College as a company about a year and a half ago. And, have really enjoyed the success of it and really enjoyed reaching out to students and working with students attending schools all over the U.S.
I think it's a great idea, and I for one, am delighted we get to talk about it on the program. You know, one of the biggest areas is that, young people usually are somewhat fairly sheltered, particularly those that end up going away to college. You know, they had parents that cared a lot about them to make the preparations for them to go away for college. They go away for the first time. They get exposed to a lot of things that will immediately undermine their performance and long-term success. Talk a little bit about that.
It's really true. You know, one of the things that we help kids focus on through our coaching programs are, effective social choices. And when they're not at home for the first time and on campus, a lot of students get caught up in certain social situations that really are not conducive to great performance. Most notably, alcohol and other drug use. I mean, that's one of the really big social issues, if not the biggest, on campuses across the country.
Yeah, no question about it. So, obviously, that conversation should begin long before the student arrives on campus.
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, most schools now have students take online educational courses prior to even setting foot on campus. And many schools actually require them to do that before they can even register. So they are exposed to it, and certainly they're exposed to it in high school as well. It's just that now that they're out on their own and they have this, freedom, and it's really, really easy to get caught up in it, and we want to really try to help students avoid that.
Yeah, no question about it. And so, and part of the problem is that, oh, great, you're making me take a class. It becomes more of that blah, 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 and then when mom and dad get involved with it, it becomes blah, 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 and it's like, we're kids. We want to be kids. And they are, they do have their frontal lobe underdeveloped and will be, even after they leave college for a while, and so, what do you do to try to make it a different impression and a different impact to try to make them think more soberly, if you will, about it?
Right. I mean, it's such a great point that, one of the real challenges, for professionals working with college students is to really challenge the social norm that they've created. The most notable one is that, everybody drinks, or, everybody smokes, and they make these huge, swooping overgeneralizations that they're just not true. And so part of it's really about addressing that and challenging their thinking, but it's also really important to help them create meaningful activity and a really healthy, meaningful lifestyle socially. Because if not, then people have a tendency to kind of get caught up, and if they stop drinking or if they stop, using a drug or whatever, it's kind of like, I'm bored, I have nothing else to do. So creating that lifestyle that's really healthy and fun and, energized and meaningful is absolutely critical.
Yeah, absolutely. And that obviously, again, it should be done before they even get there.
Yes, no question. I mean, it's a timely topic because students are now starting to go to campus and start orientations and things like that. If it's not now, it's in a couple of weeks. So to really plan, and this is something that we do exclusively with our students that take on college, is at this time of the year, we're really helping them create a visual plan of what they want this semester to look like, academically, socially, health, wellness, and fitness-wise, and to really kind of coach them to keep them on track. Otherwise it's real easy to slip back into patterns and to get caught up in things, and the next thing you know, it's mid-October, early November, and the student may have like an experience based on how they've gotten caught up in social situations that have interfered with their academic success.
And nowadays, the biggest problem, I don't know where to start with that. I mean, there's so many different problems with alcohol use because it can lead to abuse. And unfortunately, you don't know whether or not you're going to be an abuser in most cases until you start using it. But in addition to the prospects of long-term, chronic, and even the shortening of one's life, alcohol can contribute to that. And in addition to the problem that it can lead to addiction, and even is its own form of gateway drug to other mind-altering substances. But in addition to that, even if you don't end up having a long-term problem with it, it can lead to lapses of judgment that nowadays in college, you don't know entirely what happened except you had sex with someone else, and now that person's making accusations towards you, and you really can't account for how you behaved. I mean, it's like incredibly dangerous now, in terms of what can happen with your drug use and alcohol use.
Absolutely true. The correlation between alcohol, other drug use, and sexual assault on college campuses is all over and well-known. It's well-known information, and certainly one of, if not the biggest concern at schools. And what it's really important for young students who are either drinking for the first time or at least in more consistent excess is that one's judgment becomes very quickly impaired based on the number of drinks a person consumes in 1 hour. And so, if they're not spacing it out and they're not, if they're choosing to drink and not being responsible about it, the likelihood of making a poor judgment is just infinitely greater. And it really puts them in terrible legal and academic positions, and oftentimes it tarnishes their relationship with the school.
Yeah, and again, can lead to huge legal ramifications.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you right now, just a lot of bad judgment going all the way around. I have a hard enough time making good decisions sober without being under the influence. And
yeah, it's tough.
So imagine, a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old. I know they're not supposed to drink before they're 21, but how romantic. It's just a very, very scary situation. Do you have do you deal with this in the preparation for your students?
Oh, absolutely. One of the many things that we do with Take on College is we work a lot with students who need to bounce back from, say a subpar semester during which they may have gotten kind of caught up in the party life and things like that. So we want to right the ship with them and really help them to recognize what their strengths are and to get back on track and make college a real successful experience. So we do that. We do alcohol and other drug-related coaching. That's not how to do it well, but in other words, how to avoid it and to really create a healthy lifestyle and minimize the risks.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. TakeOnCollege.com. That's the website. Love having you on the program. Love sharing your information with our audience. And TakeOnCollege.com. Joel Ingersol, thanks so much.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, when we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdatareview.com, and this is The Price of Business.